We're out here in the middle of like a hurricane. So you got this up. I have water jugs holding it so it doesn't fly away. And the customer brought the RV down because none of the lights work. Let's see if it'll start. See, nothing works. I don't even have a dome light. Don't know if the bulb's blowing or not, but assuming that should go on. But the turn signals work, but nothing else works. No brake lights, no high beams. I don't think he said the rear heater blower worked. Radio didn't turn on. Let's see. Got nothing there. So we're wondering if maybe some squirrels or other critters got into the wires. So I'll see if I can find a diagram. We'll be back. Well guys, the book just says that the fuses are located at the fuse box beneath the steering column, which doesn't really help me because I knew they were there. I was hoping to find a wiring diagram. It says to see the chassis manual, but I don't have a chassis manual. I got manuals for everything else, like the electric stairs, the refrigerator, operating instructions. There's all kinds of ones in here. Air conditioner, but nothing for the chassis. So, might have to like manually try to figure these out. They are labeled, but it'd be nice to know like if there's some kind of like shared power or ground somewhere. But I guess I'll get a test light, maybe my power probe. We'll go from there. With the lights in the on position down here, we don't have any power going to the instrument cluster lamps. The choke has power. The radio has power. This ignition doesn't have power. The horn doesn't have power. Tail lights, no power. Gauges have power. Heater, wiper. Hazards don't have power, and I tried turning them on. Turn signals have power. And we have power going to the ignition right here. I don't know if that's from the ignition or to the ignition. We don't have power at this battery. I don't know if that only turns on sometimes. So, what this stuff's like, I don't know. I don't like the way it's put in here. Mess. So I guess I'll see if I can move that fuse box a little bit. Look at the back of it. Back. It looks like we don't have any power going to the radio. This thing's a mess in here, and there's exposed wires. But that green wire comes up and feeds the yellow wire for the radio. And there's no power there, but there is power at this switch, the radio switch that was on the dash. See, there's power, and you can flip it so that it changes. You can hear the relay click because there's a relay wired right there. This was the easiest thing to get at. So I think I'm going to call the owner, see if they might have a diagram for this. This could take a while without a diagram. I'll be back. I got out my ECT3000. I probed it in the radio fuse and it says open. And when I bring it up here, it's a headlight switch. Wires. You'll see it beeps. So, and then over here at the radio, it beeps again, and I have the sensitivity turned all the way down. So our wire integrity from the fuses to everything in here probably good. We're probably just missing a common power feed. So that'll probably give us some direction. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my power probe up and put power at one of the fuses down here and see if we can light some stuff up, because it doesn't look like anything shorted. I'll be back once I get my power probe. So guys, with the ignition on, if I put my power probe on the gauges and add power, everything lights up, like all the gauge lights. I don't know if you guys can see this. There you go. They all light up. So there's no issue with that. And if I go to, let's see, hazard lights, they'll flash. I don't know if the windshield wipers work. Let's see. Do I have the windshield wipers on? Let's see. Okay, so the windshield wipers work anyway. Okay, let's see. What else do I got? The horn doesn't work. The radio, when I touch the radio, I hear a relay click sometimes. Let's see. Yeah, I don't hear it click now. But the horn doesn't work. Nothing. And I think the tail lights. Tail lights, I get the hazard lights to flash because they're on. So it must be feeding that circuit too. I didn't go outside and check, but I'm assuming they're probably turning on, because after about 10 seconds, my circuit breaker blows and the power probe. So it's looking like we lost a common power feed somewhere. I also noticed some of the wires are a little crusty here. See that? But just because it's crusty doesn't mean it doesn't work. I'll be back. So guys, I just noticed this. When I probed the lights, we got 2.65 volts. Same with the ignition. We got power on one side, but I think this fuse is blown. So look at that. We have a voltage drop issue. Let's see if I turn the lights on. Yeah, we have a voltage drop issue. Yeah, when I turn the lights on. Let's go back to tellers. Yep. That's with the switch off, switch on. Now we need to figure out where it's at. I had the power probe probed into the parking lamp circuit, well, tail lamp circuit. Let's see, that light's on. This light's on. Those lights are on. Probably hard to see, but all 5 of the top ones are on. That one's on. License plate doesn't work, I guess. That ain't on. This one's on. That one's on. And those are on. So everything's good up until there. Oh, and the top ones are on. All 5 of those are on. So the parking lamp circuit's fine. So it's everything that feeds it. I don't know if we can show this. Yeah, see, we only have 5 or 6 volts feeding it. Kind of jumps around. It's kind of odd because I am moving this. Yeah, see, just jumping around. So I guess we're just gonna have to figure out what feeds these. Oh, and that ignition fuse. The ignition fuse was blown, which is odd because this is 20 amps, and I'd put my power probe in there, and the power probe didn't blow. See, the power probe will just stay on forever in there, even when I turn the ignition switch on. See, that just stays on. So I had no idea why that blew. So I'll be back. More testing here. I noticed that this is 0.214 volts. And it says bat. So I guess I'll be looking to see where this purple wire may go. It's gonna get interesting because there's quite a few purple wires. So I'll be back, see if I can find out where it goes. I've hooked up to that spot, and guess what? I turn the knob. See if I can get the knob and the dome light in the picture. Probably not. But when I turn the knob, I can get the dome light to go on. And the radio turns on. And if I turn the lights on, dash lights go on. Oh, and our horn works. So there we go. The customer just got to drive around with my power probe hooked up. Well, at least we got some direction now. Got to find out where this purple wire goes. I'll be back. So guys, I got this fuse box unbolted, and not sure if you can see it, but these were the fuses that have the big voltage drop on, and I noticed that there's a big red wire that feeds them. Oops. Let me pick this back up. There we go. Let's see. So that's the wire that we have voltage on. Let's see if I can set this here. So that's the one that feeds it, looks like. Because I had the purple wire unplugged up there. I didn't know if it got fed from up top or not. But when I turn the lights on, it drops to 0. Well, close to 0. On is 11.72. So we need to figure out where that heavy red wire goes. And Guess I'll be back once I figure out where that goes. Just working our way backwards till we find the problem. Cut apart the loom up here where it goes into like this, like where it splits off in all types of directions. The piercing probes are on the same wire. I use that to keep track of the wire. I'll put liquid electrical tape on it then. But this is how bad the voltage drops. When I, like, see, test light's not lit. Now if I put your test light in, oh, I missed it. Here, let's see. Test light in. Doesn't even light the test light. But it'll drop the voltage all the way down. If I pull the test light back away, we have power. Push it in. Nothing. Now if I put power to it with the power probe, test light will light. It's hard to hold both of these with one hand. There we go. Turn the test light off, or turn the power probe off. Go test light. Alright. See? So I'll have to trace this wire over top of this whole steering column and see where it goes. I'll be back.